I want to bring in criminal defense attorney Paige Pate. I just want to get your reaction initially to all of this.
It's crazy, right? I mean, there are a lot of allegations, and at this point it is important to remember these are just allegations. They're allegations that were made by Ms. Jeffrey in a deposition in kind of an unrelated civil suit where she actually decided to file a defamation lawsuit because Maxwell said, you're lying about all this, it's not true. That's a bold step. I mean, that means that she was confident in her claims, thinking there may be some corroboration. But unless there's corroborating evidence, I mean, all these inconsistencies, the fact that it wasn't disclosed earlier, I think that's going to prevent it from being a very serious inquiry on behalf of these new folks. I don't think they have to worry about criminal charges at this point.
What is the impact on the criminal case that's already now ongoing against Epstein?
Well, we don't know. I mean, we know Epstein has been charged. We've seen the indictment. We know what the allegations involve. But we don't, as Polo said, know the individuals who may be involved in that case. Now, presumably, Epstein's lawyers have seen the discovery materials, the evidence, and in that material, you will see the individuals named, and they'll know who they are. But we don't. That information has not been made public. Now, if the case goes to trial, I anticipate that some of these folks may testify at the trial. They'll be of age perhaps now when they weren't back in the time period when he's alleged to have undertaken these activities. But we don't know a lot about the criminal case other than the charges.
So because this was more of a past case, would you have anticipated that we would have seen charges against some of these people had there been something more substantive?
That's a great point. These allegations may be new to us because the court documents have just been unsealed, but they're not new to the federal investigators. I mean, right? These allegations that were made by Ms. Jeffrey have been investigated before. Presumably, the investigators have met with her. They've met with other potential victims. They've taken their statements. These individuals have likely been identified, but perhaps there was no corroborating evidence to support the claims.
So as it goes forward on this case, it's still, right now, he said, she said, as much as these are just horrible claims that are being made, right?
Right. But that's enough, Martin. I mean, that's really important to remember. In a criminal sexual exploitation case, just like a rape case, the victim's testimony that something happened is enough to bring a case. Now, a jury may decide we want more corroborating evidence, you need to prove it. But look, when we're talking about old allegations especially, how do you prove things like that? I mean, maybe you have a picture, okay, that shows you were there with the guy, but it doesn't.
Or she mentioned, look at the flights that I took, and that there were logs of that.
But it's all circumstantial evidence.
And so how do you prove it?
Well, it is the testimony, and whether that testimony is credible. Now, the things Alan Dershowitz pointed out, well, the testimony's been inconsistent. She didn't identify me back when she identified the other people. Those inconsistencies will be what the defense and these folks will use to attack her credibility. But it all boils down to that. Do you believe her?
What if she really did? What if she really was taken to the hospital? I mean, clearly there would be hospital records to show what she was treated for.
Right.
And if she had had a very candid conversation with somebody there.
That's possible, but then the defense will say, well, if it was a sexual abuse allegation, why didn't she request a rape kit? And if a rape kit wasn't done at the time, how can you now prove what happened? So,
could you argue that she didn't request it because it was Epstein and Maxwell who took her to the hospital?
You can argue that, and then we go down this rabbit hole, and that's exactly the problem with these cases, especially when they're brought years after the fact.
Oh, there's so many challenges in this case. All right. Paige Pate, great to see you. Thanks very much for coming in this morning.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.